Well, hello there and welcome. You are in the zone, the Biz Info Zone, and you're in the Biz Info Zone show. I'm so excited that you're here. Guess what? We are 3 weeks into the first month of 2016. Today is January the 21st, and I am so excited because one of my favorite people in the entire world is here with me today. I get to interview her once again. And part of that excitement is because she's been working on some really big stuff for her community and for our joint venture community. And so we're today going to talk about increasing the dose of love in your business. Now, how does that sound? Well, before I do anything else, I want to let you know that today's show is sponsored by the P3 Academy of Social Entrepreneurship, where we teach entrepreneurs how to be the CEO, do bigger business in a more holistic framework of accelerated business development so that you can earn more revenue and do more good in the world. And I invite you to check out the P3 Academy at p3academy.com and find out what is there that could be of great value and interest to you. So with that said, let's get into today's show. Again, increase the dose of love in your business. This woman is all about love. She exudes love and teaches love. And can you believe this? Love in business? Yeah. And there are a lot more people paying attention to that concept these days. But let me tell you a little bit about Cynthia Gardner O'Neill. She's a wellness educator, a coach, and provider. She is the creator of Heartmonics, Harmonized Life and Business. She's a research scientist and intuitive healer. And she actually does these wilderness adventures. She's a wilderness adventure guide. She's faculty of serving mindset for Directions University. She's an illuminator of love and a lover of life. And I love her because through Heartmonics and one of her newest things, Heartmonize, she's going to bring to us what she does in her work and for so many out in the marketplace. And that's about harmonizing life and business. She's got extensive education and training and degrees and certifications in alternative medicine. And as a research scientist, she studied the heart. One of the great conversations, just one of the many great conversations we've been in, has been the conversation around the biggest killer in the world right now is not war, it's not cancer, it's heart disease. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that today too. And without further ado, let me say hi, Cynthia. Welcome to the show.
Well, hi, Lynn. Thanks so much for having me here with you again. I just, you know how much I enjoy working along with you. We bring heart into business with our own businesses that we partner in together. And I'm always, feeling so blessed and so grateful for your friendship and our business relationship, our heart venture that we have together. So it all works. It's all one. So I would like to talk about the one thing, and that's really important for business, that you have that focus. And we're seeing, as you said, we are seeing that happening today in commercials, in the way people market. They are marketing love. And really, because it used to be sex, because sex, sex sold. And actually, the reason why sex sold, because actually sex was about love. It really was. The core of what that was about was love. And, mankind is motivated by love. And that's why we do business. That's why we offer our service to the world, because we want to make a difference. That's the love that we are. That's why we increase the dose of love every day in our businesses. And that's not separated from our life. So why separate your heart from your business when your business is focused around your heart? It's very clear.
That you're so right. And we have seen more people coming into connection with us because they've identified that they want to do more business from the heart. They want to be the heart-centered service organizations and service individuals that we talk about. And I love that you are service mindset, you're Dean of Service Mindset for Directions University. And, many of us have heard about, service in business and, be of service to others. But talk to us a little bit about what the service mindset is.
Well, the service mindset actually comes from being in the heart. And you've heard me say many times, get out of your head and into your heart, because your heart is so much wiser than your brain. And, and I'm not just saying that from the top of my head, this is true as far as even science. The heart is 2/3 neurological cells. And it is actually our first brain. Everything begins in the heart and then goes to our brain. And so it's so important for people in business to realize that our hearts are so, much wiser in the decision making. And your heart is actually what knows what your market is, because what's in your heart, goes out 60 times more amplified than any part of your body and 5,000 times more electromagnetic. So what we're putting out from our hearts about who we want to market to. And this is really important. Why it's so important for us to get really clear on who our market is. Because what's going out, who we want to help, with our product, will draw back to us 100 times plus who we're looking for. So as Rumi says, what you are seeking is seeking you. And that's a really important part of business. This is a really important part of relationships. And, in the market, so the service mindset is about relationships, relationship marketing, creating those relationships that take you to that next level, who you want to spend time with, who makes you happy. No one wants to be in business and they're doing business with people they don't like. That's no fun. There's a lot of people out there doing that. And you know what? You don't even want to do business with them. They're focused on the problems, and they're focused on, someone, even the old competition type of thing is changed a lot too, because really it's about collaborating and creating a community where you have like-minded people, but you always know that someone has a contribution, that they're going to do it in a different way than you do it. And you can start collaborating and working with one another because you can teach together so that you can reach a greater whole. And actually makes your lives so much easier when you create those relationships, because you're helping each other, you're collaborating and you're contributing. And as we say, connecting, collaborating, creating, and then contributing it out to the world. That's the service mindset. I wish more for others than I wish for myself. And that doesn't mean I'm leaving myself out. Your greatest gift that you can give to the world is your love, your heartbeat. And that's a huge contribution. Loving yourself is a huge contribution, because when you're loving yourself, you're holding that space for more love, better things for others, being of service to others. We're not talking about selfishness. We're not talking about greed here. We are talking about something so big. So in a way, I don't like to say opposite or create any duality here. I'm just saying it is, being here in a place of balance and harmony. That's what harmonizing life is all about. It's about knowing that we all have a contribution. We can help one another, and we can create a better world through our work. And one of my favorite quotes from Khalil Gibran is, "Work is love made visible." When we're out there working from our hearts, it is love made visible. So increase the dose.
Beautiful. You know, you said a couple of things that I really just want to make sure that people got, because they have been very impactful for me. One being that because mankind is motivated by love, increasing the dose and doing our business from the place of love means, and I love these statistics that you brought out, 68 times more amplified, meaning that what we give out, and thinking about it too, negative or positive, what we're giving out is 68 times more in its going out. But the law of resonance says that what goes out is in its amplified state going to even bring back that which is greater. And you're saying 5,000 times more magnetic, which is what is going to come back.
Yeah, 5,000 times more electromagnetic, 60 times more amplified.
Right,
yeah.
Right.
And that's what we can measure. You know, I know it's much bigger than that. And each time, you know, we're measuring the immeasurable. What is unseen today will be seen tomorrow.
What is seen today will be talked about tomorrow, because we'll have a frame of reference within which to talk about it. And that's what we're doing with this, bringing this knowledge to the, you know, just the social entrepreneurs that are part of this community even now have another frame of reference that says, yes, I'm right. I've been going to my heart and trying to do things from this space of the heart. And it's the right place to be, because look at this. I do see it's been scientifically proven that what's going to come back to me is more of the love that I'm giving out. And you know, let's look at the flip side of that, because there are people out here, there are entrepreneurs who are struggling in this space. And in that struggle, they even consider themselves working and giving and being from the heart, in the heart. Yet what's coming back to them may not be the result of that. How would you explain that?
Can you? I need to hear a little more there, because I'm you know, in that process of just taking in what you were just saying. And there's
for the entrepreneur who is out there struggling, saying, you know, I love the work that I do. I'm doing it from my heart. If in fact what I'm doing goes out into the world amplified and comes back to me magnified, why am I in struggle?
There we go. Okay. Well, as you had also, you know, brought into what I had said, you know, about whatever's in your heart, okay, you're putting out is coming back to you that 100 times plus, right? So if you have fears, if you question yourself or criticize yourself and you don't feel value or valued, okay, you're putting that out. It's coming back to you 100 times plus also. So whatever you're most focused on will be brought back to you 100 times plus. So some things are more in your heart than they're, you know, than other things that actually would serve you or serve the whole, okay, the highest good. Now, right now I'm getting ready to, with Julie Umpleby with the Diamond Light World, we had done a Defrag Your Heart Drive where we traveled around Colorado and we did this little bit of a class, and we're getting ready to do a full course on Defrag Your Heart Drive from fragmentation to wholeness starting in February. And so defragging your heart drive, why that's so important, it has to do with the question that you asked me, is we have, you know, the challenges that we have and trauma, things that we might get angry at or be resentful with or judge, are fragments that come into our heartbeat, you know, into the heart, the frequency of the heart. And it fragments the flow and the movement of that frequency, which I actually call the golden ratio or the Fibonacci frequency. And so it fragments the patterns that you were creating in your lives and makes it harder because you don't have that easy flow and pathway that creates. And and it takes up a lot of space in your heart where you can't move, and it contracts. And that's what, heart disease and, all the gunk that gets in there and clogs up your arteries and everything is just those fragments, all that stuff that you're not letting go of. You're not releasing from your heart, and your heart is contracting, and you're shutting down blood flow and oxygen. And you're also, with that, you're doing it to your brain. So you can't think and you can't make wise decisions. And so what we're going to be doing is helping you defrag, just like you do with your computer. You know how your computer gets so packed up and then it just shuts down because it doesn't have any space in there, and it slows down. It gets really slow, and it can't. You're like going, hurry up! How come my computer is taking so long for me to get to that information, right? It's because it's all fragmented in there, and you got too much junk, and it's time to clean it out and open up the space so it can run more freely and easily. And so we help you recognize, become aware. Like there's 5 levels of consciousness that we teach in there. Number 1 is awareness. Becoming aware that you have those fragments that are what are holding you back. Okay, what is the discordance? What is the energy that you're focused on, that you're putting out there, that's causing more discordance for you? Let's figure out what that is. Once we have the awareness, we all of a sudden go, oh my gosh, I need to know more about this. So first level is awareness. Second level is getting the knowledge. We're going to give you the knowledge on what that is all about with your heart. What is clogging it up? What is causing the discordance and the dis-ease of the heart? And once you get that knowledge about your heart, the strength that the heart has and the wisdom that the heart has, and all those things, you have all of a sudden have, the third level of consciousness is understanding. Oh my God, I understand why I have these problems, or why I'm having this great opportunity come to me, or why, you all of a sudden have this understanding that everything is okay. I'm actually getting it so that I'm clearing out all that junk. So I have this open heart. And as you always say, open hearts, open hearts. And so you're opening your heart, and you're opening the heart of people around you and in your business, and everything's flowing. It's just rocking, and it's harmonized, and it's just flowing. So once you get that understanding, you go into the 4th level of consciousness, and that is acceptance. Accepting yourself just as you are, that opens the heart even more. Accepting yourself, that you're okay, that the perfection that you've been wanting is actually already a part of who you are. The same thing with the people outside of you, that they are perfect just as they are, because they have their own way of doing things. They have their own way of contributing to the world, and so do you. And you begin to accept that. And once you accept that, the biggest thing of all is the love flows. You become the love that you are. Everybody out there is becoming the love that they are. And life is just sharing with you. It's incredible. You are just the oneness of life comes in, and you are, just everything is in harmony. That's the harmonics of the heart, Heartmonics, as I call it. That harmony that you begin to feel, and you're flowing, and you feel so comfortable with life. And even when the challenges come up that might fragment your heart, you're no longer in that place to that disharmony, or that discordance, or that illness, or that disease cannot stay there, because it's not in the same frequency that you are, that your heart is. Because it's just like a tuning fork. When you tune a guitar or piano or whatever, the thing is, when you get into that harmonic tune, it all resonates. And what doesn't resonate with you will either be neutralized or fall away. So that's also how we gain, when we are just in harmony with life, you don't have any worries. You don't have to protect yourself because you already are in harmonic balance with life. So, and me as a wilderness outfitter, when I go out to be a wilderness outfitter and I'm taking people out there, there are bears and mountain lions and all kinds of things, yes, that could cause some trauma, right? But instead, we go out there and I say, I'm in harmony with nature and nature's in harmony with me. We are in love with each other, okay? And guess what? No one, you're not going to track something that you're in harmony with. Love does not hurt love. And so what happens to people when they go out into even into the world where you would never put yourself in a place of discordance once you know love yourself enough to know that you're in harmony with that, you wouldn't put yourself in that kind of discordant energy, because immediately as soon as you feel that discordance, you know that that's not where you belong and you walk away instead. So again, when you go out into the wilderness, if you have fear in your heart, like you're afraid, you're becoming prey. You're putting out a frequency that you fear something out there, and that animal who is a predator will find you because it will feel your heartbeat, the fear in your heart. That's how life works. So did I answer your question?
You did answer my question, and I appreciate that, because, you know, there are so many entrepreneurs who are trying to figure out, how can I get out of the struggle? And we've all heard that it starts with you, you know, change your mind, change your life, and all of these things that seem like they're cliches are actually truth. And especially with what it is that you're saying now, with the proof being that what's released from your heart is truth, and the truth is what's going to come back to you. If you're constantly thinking about, I'm in this space of struggle and lack, that's what's going to come back to you, because you're in this thinking of struggle and lack. And
Yeah.
so, you know, as one of the things that we've been doing a lot of recently is finalizing, you know, the forward look into 2016.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, building the strategy that we'd like to use to reach our vision for 2016 and beyond. And one of the things that I see, and we've been, you know, kind of teaching, is that in order to stay on path of ease and joy and just that forward movement, there are a couple of elements. And one of them you talk about is gratitude. Tell us a little bit more about being in the space of gratitude as it relates to heart and Heartmonics.
Well, gratitude is huge. And what's kind of funny for people is, you know, they become grateful, but they forget that also gratitude is about being grateful for what you already have. Some people wait to be grateful for, you know, until they receive something. And in the waiting, they are sitting there in a place of lack, and rather than being in a place of abundance. So gratitude is always about saying, I'm just happy right where I am. And, you know, happiness, being happy and being at peace inside yourself and being grateful for who you are, the people that are in your life, your home, your business, all that you're here to do, that you're even here, to be grateful for just that, no matter what situation you're in, actually helps you out of the situation if it's not such a comfortable one, so to speak. So just being grateful that you're alive when you're going through maybe an illness and stuff, and loving your body even more, increasing the dose of love. Increase the dose. And that's what we're here talking about. Increase the dose of love in your work. And you increase the dose not only within yourself, but within others. And you make a huge contribution to this world.
That's beautiful. I love that. And in increasing the dose of love, it's starting with the airplane scenario. And when oxygen flow is low and the masks drop, and you're thinking about, well, I could increase the dose and help all of these people around me. However, there's a single premise that you have to put your own mask on first. And then you're in a position to be able to help others. And, in that thinking, a lot of people think that, putting on my oxygen mask first is selfish. How would you address that?
Huh. Well, you can't help anybody if you're dead, right? That's just the cut and dried right there. So it is important that you take care of yourself in order to help others. I mean, if you put yourself in struggle, if you devalue yourself, if you don't value what you have to give to others, other people will not value that either. That's the frequency you're putting out. They won't value you back. So what you're saying when you don't take the mask, what you're saying is you're not worth it. That somebody else maybe is worth it more or whatever, but is that really true? There's a question that I have written about. It says, is there a return on your investment when your heart leads the way? And I had a really great example of a client of mine who owns a yoga business. And there are days when she feels like not practicing yoga. And the way that she views her resistance to practice is by saying, it's easier for me to overcome the immediate resistance to her daily practice of yoga rather than deal with the issues that will arise afterwards from not practicing with yoga and investing in herself in that moment. Now, I want to make a point here that really it's not the yoga that was the increase in investment. It was actually her believing, knowing, loving herself enough to do the yoga, that because it's something that felt good. It was movement, it was flow. She was taking care of herself. That's what was the great investment in her, was her doing something that she loved to do. It wasn't the yoga that was helping her. So I always say, it is love more than food that nourishes you. We don't, humanity is motivated by love. And the food that you're taking in is the love of the world. We are all here and commissioned to give to one another, to receive from one another. One cannot be without the other, so it's really important that the grass, if it didn't grow up into and receive the sunshine and the rain and the nourishment that was there and take care of itself, you wouldn't have any grass. Nature would not be existing without that exchange, reciprocity. And that's huge in business, reciprocity, the giving and receiving. It's so important. You can't give to someone who's not willing to receive. It just doesn't happen.
You're right. You're right. And it's one of the things that I look to in the work that I do. My ideal client is one who wants to participate in the growth of their business, in the work that we do together. And they are highly self-motivated. And, self-motivation is something that I believe comes from the heart. However, I also hear people, and I'm one, balance and bringing harmony into things. It all sounds like so much work. I'm already doing so much work. Yet, when you think about it in terms of, like you said, Khalil Gibran, work is love made visible. Do you have, another nugget that you can share to help people to move into that space of bringing about ease and, a conscious conversation to help shift that energy.
Yeah, one of my favorite things to do for my clients is, you know, getting them, let's just take pain, for example, and many have heard me, who's listening here might have heard this before, but it's really worth, it's a great investment in ourselves in asking the question, when we're in pain, what would I rather have instead? What that does is it disrupts the amplification of pain, okay, going out from your heart. I'm in pain. And when, so there's the awareness. So being aware that you're in pain. There's a lot of people who are in pain that actually don't seek help because they just figure they're in pain and there's nothing you can do about it. They have to live like that. A lot of people feel they have to live like that. They have to live in discomfort, that's just a part of life. And that's not true. It's not true at all. So really helping people become aware that they do have that discordant energy or that discordant feeling, that pain. So we'll just focus on that. And as another Rumi quote, Rumi says, the cure for pain is in the pain. So, feeling, no healing. You got to feel whether you're in pain or not. That you have to be aware, because then you don't know what to do with it. So really recognizing that I'm in pain, and the big question is, what would you rather have instead? Now, 90% or 99% actually of my clients would say no pain. No pain. And I go, you're still focused on pain. So what would you rather have instead? What is the opposite? Okay. And a long time ago, when I was first getting into this knowledge and understanding, was the big think positive. And when I said to people, let's get into thinking positive, they go, I'm friggin' in pain. Why the F do I want to, lie to myself about being in pain, right? I don't want to do an affirmation. That's lying to myself. And it took me back a few times. I'm like, whoa, okay. So I had to kind of shift that and change that to get a more positive response in a way. And how do you do that, is to help people not feel as if they're lying to themselves, because that's painful too. That adds to the pain. And so I would start to ask, what would you rather have instead? What's the opposite of pain? Because what you'd rather have instead is not a lie. Because if you're in pain, wouldn't you rather have comfort? Wouldn't you rather have pleasure? Wouldn't you rather have something even better? And I say even better because, pain, we have something to learn from that pain. So it's really, sometimes it's there to protect you. It's there to serve you. So love your pain. Increase the dose of love. And then ask yourself what you'd rather have instead. I would rather have comfort. And I always ask people, well, is comfort healthier for you than pain? Well, yeah, of course it is. Well, then the big question I ask people is, what's the adverse consequence to being in comfort all the time? Well, there's no adverse consequence to being comfortable. Well, then why don't you have it right now? Why don't you have it all the time? Why are you in pain all the time instead of being comfortable all the time? You got to figure out what's causing the pain. And the way you figure that out is, what's the adverse consequence that's keeping you in pain? So I'll give a quick, because I know we're getting down to our last minutes here. I'm going to give a quick example of that. Is I grew up, in a very abusive, sexual abuse, rape during my life. And I was paralyzed for a little while during my childhood. And I had a lot of sicknesses. I had pneumonia and strep and all kinds of things. In fact, it was strep that was in my body that kept me from walking. And, was that healthy for me at that time? Absolutely. It was healthy for me to be paralyzed. It was healthy for me because when I was sick, when I was like that, I wasn't abused anymore. They wouldn't touch me. He wouldn't touch me. So you really got to look that if there's an adverse consequence to you having, to you being in a comfortable place, your pain may be there for a reason. Okay. And you need to figure out why it's there and if it's still serving you or not. If it's no longer serving you, you got to let it go. And you move into what you'd rather have instead. Okay. This is big.
I love that, because you can also do that same process as it relates to lack or struggle. Yes. I know for a lot of entrepreneurs, I don't have the money to do this or to add that. And it's like, what is the adverse consequence to your not having the money to do everything that you'd like to do? Well, maybe it means that you will invent something. I was interviewed a little earlier today, and one of the questions was, what was the challenge that you were in, and how did you handle that? And the challenge for me at the time was my message wasn't getting out, so attracting the clients, the potential clients and customers that I would have liked was not happening. And it's like, so what was the adverse consequence? And I have to say that at that time, looking back on it, the adverse consequence was that, again, necessity is the mother of invention. I invented a process that actually helped me to eliminate a lot of the negative beliefs, a lot of the emotional triggers, a lot of the things that were part of what kept me in that struggle story. And I challenge our listeners, our viewers, what may be the thing that is causing you the pain right now? And ask the question, what is the adverse consequence? And, a little more to that story, had I not been in that pain, not spent the time in that pain, the invention that I had may not have come about. Yet I didn't know that. And so, when I look at that, I look at, was there anything else that was an adverse consequence? And I have to say that I was able to identify, I mentioned some limiting beliefs, some fears, some things that I really desired to walk through, but really was holding on to the fear. And thank you, Cynthia, so much for saying, when you get to the point that you're ready to choose something different and then decide that it is going to be the thing that takes you to the other side of that, is when you actually see things open up. And it does happen, I think, because of your heart, because of how you have begun to possibly better value yourself. And again, that is one profound process to go through, asking yourself, if I'm in pain, if I'm still in this pain, why is it? But not so much why is it, but what would I rather have instead? And then why don't I have it?
Yes.
Because you could be on the other side of it, right?
Yeah. So for example, when you're out of rhythm and disconnected from your heart, it enters into your workplace. And later on, when you're talking about retiring, even, when people go into retirement, there's the void of identity after retirement, which is the same as the void of identity with your heart in business. And it can lead to an early death. That's why we have so much heart disease. So that's why it's so important to engage in a work environment that puts the heart first. And you can create that in your own businesses, because working environments that don't put the heart first causes the void of identity with your heart and creates a stressful life. And none of us want that in our businesses. So why separate your business from your life or from your heart when your heart is based around your business? mostly because you are unaware of your connection to your heart. And that's why Lynn and I decided to have this talk today, to increase the dose of love, to connect with your heart and know that your heart, when you listen to your heart, and look at you guys, I have on my, let's see.
Listen to your heart.
Yeah. Today, I love wearing clothes and things like that have messages that help me feel good and close to my heart, and that's what I like to do in business and with my clients and the people who work along with me, as Lynn could attest to also. So it's so important. Your heart and increasing the dose of love will make your life so much easier. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with having an easier life. It's time to change from the no pain, no gain into the no pleasure, no treasure. Because the pleasures in life are here for us. That's the abundance of life that we're working towards too. That we're feeling that the reason why, we want to increase the dose, we want to have a better life for our families. We want to have a better life for the people that we live with and our friendships and the people we work with and all those things. Isn't that the abundance that you're working towards, or you already have, being grateful for what you already have, and recognizing that, and then knowing that you can do it even better. No matter how great your life is, also you can make it even better. And that's the agreement that I believe we're all born with. To receive all life has to give. The challenges, the ease, the good, the bad, and to transform it into something even better. Why? Because you can. You can. Yes, you can.
Yes, you can. I love that. And in that thinking around yes, you can, you mentioned a little earlier about the Defrag Your Heart Drive.
Yes.
From fragmentation to wholeness. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, so it's will be in February, and actually we're going to be starting back up, Lynn and I too, the Adventures of the Heart, Building Wisdom Through Experience, our second season, although we've decided to do it once a month. And those will be some very powerful shows. And they're going to be on Wednesdays at the first Wednesday of every month, starting in February, our Heart Month. And that'll be February 3rd, I do believe, is that first Wednesday. Yep. We will also be introducing, giving you the schedule for that same every Wednesday. After that, the 10th, 17th, and 24th, and March 2nd. It's a 4-day course, 2 hours per day, on every Wednesday through February, and then March 2nd at noon Mountain Time, 2 o'clock Eastern. And that's the same with the Adventures of the Heart. So 2 o'clock Eastern on Wednesdays. And I'll be joined by Julie Umpleby from the Diamond Light World. And it is going to be very powerful because we bring in some huge new science, new leading edge information, research and science, and also, the experiences that we've had, what's brought us to find out this information and bring this to you so you can have a more empowered, beautiful, loving life and allow your heart to command that, it's the central command center of the communication of your life. So it's going to be big, open hearts. And that's what we're doing when we defrag our heart drive. And it's from transformation, what was that?
From fragmentation.
From fragmentation to wholeness. Thank you. I got that transformation in there, which is what we're doing too.
Yes. Transformation.
So we already are whole, healthy, and complete. You just need to know that.
I love that. And I love that we're restarting the Adventures of the Heart. And to our audience, you'll be able to find the links to all of this, and all the information that's yet to come will be placed in the comments area. You'll also be able to find it on YouTube. And you'll be able to find it at joinyourheartventures.com. We want you to go there as well. Actually, it's joinyhv.com for your heart ventures. And join in the conversation. Defrag your heart drive and do bigger and better business in the coming days, months, and years because of this work. It is transformational. It's profound. And Cynthia, thank you so much for bringing this information and this work to us today. I'm so grateful for you. I'm so grateful to be in partnership with you. I love you, my friend. And just thank you for being here today.
Yeah, and thank you. And that join YHV, yourheartventures.com is Lynn and I offer a program for your businesses that we, create your heart ventures. So that's where that's going to take you, so that you can work along with us. We help you with your course creation and your memberships and your business, and we bring heart into your business. So please come join us and we'll give you all that information. And one last thing that I'd like to share with you for breathe deep into your heart. Love yourself more today than you did yesterday. And each time you take those breaths, think about your lungs hugging your heart and giving yourself a big hug. Thank you so much.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Lynn, for inviting me here. And I love being here and working along with you.
Thank you, Cynthia. It's always such a great pleasure. And to our audience, you'll be able to find more information about this and upcoming shows at bizinfozone.com. And remember, our sponsor for today has been the P3 Academy of Social Entrepreneurship, and you can find out more about the P3 Academy at p3academy.com. I'm V-Lynn Hawkins. I'm your host, and you've been in the zone, the Biz Info Zone, where we focus on business, money, and strategy. And this conversation about increasing the dose of love in your business has just been amazing. Thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you right back here at the same time, same place next week on the Biz Info Zone show. Bye for now.